I feel like that I'm filming a bunch of these videos within rapid succession in terms of things. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to turn on my ring light. Hang on. Okay, that's a little bit better. Hi, everyone. My name is Rose, also known as TA Summers. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be kind of a late upload in terms of my reading vlog, which involves like several different things. I have some footage of when I was visiting my hometown where I was running some errands, and I happened to go to my library for the first time in about a decade, and was able to use some of the shelves in the YA section, as well as read a couple of manga volumes for my 30 and 30 manga challenge. So you'll see that footage coming up shortly after this clip, but essentially this is a reading vlog of everything that I was able to do like during that particular trip, as well as other books that I have chosen to feature in this vlog. So I have a number of titles that I wanted to try to get off of my current reading list, and basically track my progress for each of them and give you my thoughts on them. So it is November now. I believe this will probably still go up before the end of the month. I'm not sure if it's going to be during the holiday or after the holiday, but it just depends on timing. But without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. I'll just track my progress for each of these books and kind of give you my thoughts about each of them as I go through them. So the first one that I want to feature that is on my currently reading list, and is also one of the galleys that I want to be able to review pretty shortly. I also bought a physical copy of it. This is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, and so you'll see a full review of this as I go through the vlog. So as you can see, it's a really pretty cover, and I have the tour edition of it, the re-release, because this was indie published before and then it was picked up by Tor. So I'm really excited to be able to get to it. Another book that I want to feature is one that is also part of my 30 and 30 manga challenge, is Silent Voice Complete Collector's Edition by Yoshitoki Oima. And I included this in a book haul video that I'm actually going to feature. I think it should be already up. I am also reading Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. That is a book that was nominated for a Goodreads Choice Award as of the filming of this video, and also I got it as a galley, so I wanted to read it and give you my thoughts about it once I finish it. I'm about halfway done at the time of this filming, so my thoughts about it will be contained in this video. And the last book that I want to feature in this particular video is a novella that I mentioned that I wanted to get to. This is One Summer Weekend by Shannon Stacy, and it is a novella that I was approved for previously, but unfortunately did not get a chance to get to. So that will be, I'll put the cover up here for your reference, but I did mention it in a previous video that I wanted to get to it this month. So this will be, a review for that will be in this vlog. So without further ado, in terms of editing rows, I'm actually going to give you the feature of me walking through my childhood library, and then I will be back to give the full spectrum of my reading vlog for all of these books. So I'll see you on the other side. See ya. So I'm actually in the middle of doing 10 billion different things this Sunday evening, about a week out from when I was doing my video or visiting my hometown. It is Sunday the 19th, I believe. And I just literally finished reading Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. I loved every single part of this book. This is a sci-fi horror that was focusing on the pursuits of a woman named Claire, who is actually going with her team to investigate a ghost ship that has long since been abandoned and is the source of a series of mysterious events and deaths that they don't know what the cause of it was, and they're trying to investigate it while in the process essentially endangering themselves in this uncertain environment, and trying to put the pieces together. I thought that it was very harrowing, to say the least, and I followed Claire in her respective journey of every step of the way, from the first discovery of the ghost ship into going through it, and then having all these mysterious events and unexplained events happen to the crew. Her being in the process of getting out of that situation and being interrogated in terms of the fate of her respective crew. She's presumably the only survivor when you first are introduced to her with respect to the start of the novel. She doesn't remember everything that happened. It's a situation where she's having to navigate a lot of trauma in the spectrum of it. I thought that it was very well done in terms of navigating the trauma that she had survived and going between the uncertainty and the grief that she has, essentially being a survivor. But what was really harrowing is that she ends up in a situation where she actually has to go back to the ship and essentially goes with these other crew members who are investigating what happened on the ghost ship. Without going into spoilers in terms of how it ends, it is really an interesting look in terms of the psychological horror aspects of it, the physical horror aspects of it, and then the uncertainty of knowing whether or not Claire is essentially going to make it out alive with anyone that she trusts and respects. So I would give this particular novel a 4 out of 5 stars as of the filming of this video. I really love the audiobook version. I was able to pick up the audiobook version in addition to having the galley for it, and I really enjoyed it. So that is Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. So now I literally just finished editing a video and uploading my October wrap-ups, which was very late. So what I'm going to do now is try to see if I can film a few other videos in the process of things and have those uploaded on the channel in between me continuing my reading vlog.
Hey everyone, I am updating from my laptop camera in terms of this video. It is the end of November at this point, and I have 2 more books to talk about in terms of my reading vlog. So the first one that I want to talk about is Silent Voice Collection Volume 1. I did finish actually both collections, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to just focus on the first collection. So, The Silent Voice is essentially about 2 people, Shoko and Shoya. Shoya is an elementary school student who is a daredevil who gets into a lot of things, trouble, you name it. Always tries to do like a lot of like death-defying things. His world changes when a new student appears in his classroom named Shoko, who is a deaf student, and she can't hear anything. Her differences are difficult for a lot of the students to adjust to, but Shoya takes it upon himself to bully her because he feels the need to bully her, and that essentially starts the wheels of the story to essentially start turning, especially since Shoya's bullying of Shoko is so bad in terms to the point where it makes her transfer schools. And that sets also the wheels turning like for events into where they get into secondary school, where they essentially high school, And Shoya is very much a different person because after Shoko leaves, he becomes the bullied, and he essentially learns that he's learned the error of his ways, and so to speak. And so when Shoko comes up again, coming back to school, and he tries to reconnect with her, she literally wants nothing to do with him. The story of A Silent Voice is them navigating their relationship in the aftermath of their past and finding a way to reconnect, and especially with Shoya trying to do what he can to make up for the trauma he's caused Shoko, as well as kind of like letting everyone know he's changed. Of course, that's not an easy route, especially in the first volume of this manga volume, and so it has a very wide array of characters in terms of the friend circles for both Shoko and Shoya, and they don't necessarily have a lot of friends, essentially because in terms of the way that Shoya has acted, he's basically alienated everybody around him, essentially because he was bullied and had a lot of rumors going around after what he did to Shoko, as well as other things. Shoko finds it hard to have a lot of friends herself because people don't understand her disability and treat her in ways that are unkind. And you essentially follow the two of them as they navigate the process of connecting with people who knew them and people who didn't know them in their childhood, and them finding out the truth of things as things go on. I really liked the first volume of The Silent Voice. I loved the artwork. I loved how realistic it was and showcased the characters in such a way that I could follow their emotions, and they're coming to terms with a lot of things that happen in the manga. I believe I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I got the special collection because it has a lot of different features, including the original short story, which led to the creation of the manga series and actually won awards for its feature. It also had a lot of like illustrations and interviews from the author and other notes that made it supplement each of the manga volumes that were really helpful to see in translation. So I really enjoyed it. So the second book that I wanted to feature in this vlog that I actually finished is actually a novella. It is One Summer Weekend by Shannon Stacy, and essentially this showcases the relationship between Noah and Carly, and they have been childhood best friends, basically gone through a lot of life things together in terms of navigating a lot of adventures and things like that. But Noah is stuck in a pretty sticky situation when he's at work because there are a lot of he easily lied to like his coworkers and his boss, essentially saying that, yeah, I do have a girlfriend, when he really doesn't, and he doesn't really have any plans to get married or have any long-term relationships. But Noah is invited to a wedding, a beach wedding between his boss and his fiance. So he's stuck in a bind because he's been telling stories about Carly being his girlfriend when she really isn't. He approaches her to play the role of his fake girlfriend. Carly agrees, but she sets some terms to kind of navigate the fake relationship that they're doing, and some of it is actually really cute and funny. But essentially, they go to the wedding and they have very piping hot chemistry in terms of their relationship. And even when the wedding is over, they're not 100% sure whether or not they can actually just go back to being friends and pretending what happened over the beach summer weekend didn't happen. So the novella gets into that with respect to them navigating the aftermath of that and having actually a really cute reconnection of what their feelings are and that kind of thing. So I really enjoyed One Summer Weekend by Shannon Stacy, and I expected that I would because I like Shannon Stacy's writing. I like the chemistry of the characters. I like the attention to the setting and their emotions and feelings for each other. So it was something that I liked, even though some of the pacing was a little bit sluggish. But I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it. So that's a brief update from me of both of these particular reads.
So I'm finally down to the last part of this particular vlog. It is now December 1st, and I didn't get a lot of reading done over the Thanksgiving break. I spent some time with some friends and family and was able to take a proper break from everything in terms of work. I'm not 100% sure what that was. Anyway, in terms of a brief update, coming into December, I wanted to address a couple of things. I took part in the 30 and 30 manga challenge that was sponsored by Shae Out. So you can see in the first part of this video where I read manga volumes 2 and 3 of Ranma. That will be in my 30 and 30 wrap up. But I also participated in the Skoden Readathon for the month of November of 2022, which is it was founded by Kim, Native Lady Book Warrior. So that's Kim's channel name. So I will be doing a separate video that chronicles what I was able to do in both the Skoden Readathon as well as the 30 and 30. But unfortunately, I failed both of those challenges. I won NaNoWriMo, but I failed both of the book challenges that I wanted to get to. But I will cover kind of what I was able to do in those book challenges in a later video. So that's just a general update. Last book that was on my TBR that I featured at the beginning of this video, this is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and I loved so much of this book so much. It's essentially about an orc named Viv who is tired of the bloodshed and doing essentially like looting and plundering and all kinds of different things, and decides to live a quieter life. And so she decides to leave her particular past behind, go into another town and open up a coffee shop. And she's inspired to do that from a coffee shop in a gnome city where she really loved coffee. But of course, when she moves into this particular town, she like nobody knows about coffee or anything like that. She buys the business. She meets a variety of colorful characters who help her in her ventures, from repairing the worn down. It used to be I think a stable of some sort, and then they furnish it to be a proper shop. And then she recruits like Viv is the orc here, and she recruits a succubus to be her essentially her +1, her assistant. And it's a wide variety of characters, like essentially helping Viv to run the day-to-day operations of her coffee shop. But it's not without its bumps and bruises, and literally just going through a lot of like different things that she doesn't think about when the business of running a coffee shop. And I loved so much of this book. It was very easy to get through. I flew through it essentially once I started. I couldn't stop, and I couldn't put it down. So, and by the time I finished it, I thought, oh, that's a really pleasant story and really sweet. It's not necessarily something that's really heavy on the stakes. It's very slice of life. So it essentially follows Viz from the day to day, like in terms of what turmoils she has running the coffee shop. So if you like something that's a bit more low stakes and something that's really calming and soothing to read, this is definitely something that may be up your alley. I really enjoyed it. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I enjoyed it so much. And I would highly recommend it for anyone who kind of wants that fantasy setting, something that's a little bit more lighthearted, but depicted in a fantasy setting. And so that's Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I'm covering up his name, oh my gosh. So that is the end of this particular vlog and video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be informed of when I post new videos. And if you like the format of this, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next video. Bye.